Hello everyone, Kaiser Wilhelm here, telling you we have won. Democracy is over. What gives me the courage to make such a claim? Well, I'll tell you. It's that democracy's over. Recent events have led me to believe that the rule of law no longer applies in the United States. And, as such, when the rule of law no longer applies, you simply cease to have a democracy. A republic. I'm sorry, they like to be called a republic. I don't know why. Anyways, the rule of law. What is the rule of law? Why does it matter? Well, the rule of law is the rule stating that everyone, good, bad, black, white, yellow, gay, straight, indifferent, everyone is governed by the same code of laws. Equal application of the same code of laws. And recent events, as I've seen them, lead me to the conclusion that the equal application of the rule of law is all but gone. See, it all started when this new president got elected. Suddenly, it didn't matter what you did. As long as it was for getting rid of this president. People hated him so much, the people that didn't want him to get elected in the first place, that they have overlooked this Russian collusion hoax for 3 years now, wasting time. This political game, all with one mantra in mind: get Trump. That's all they're after. They want to get Trump. And it has allowed the government, and it has allowed private interests to grow, to flourish, to fester, I suppose is the correct word, to a point where they're no longer manageable. A story comes to mind of one Mr. General Flynn, a man who served his country for more decades than I've been alive. And in one fell swoop, the FBI, operating under a man who is undoubtable political affiliations, took everything that he had and he worked for and he built up to in his long life away from him. And now a loyal patriot sits in a jail cell because he couldn't remember exactly what he'd said in a phone call. Folks, this is the end of the rule of law. Everything about what the FBI is doing is the end of the rule of law, and it's great. We don't want the rule of law. We want the end of these Western democracies. So how do you do it? Well, the first thing that we have to consider is we have to consider a way to throw our political opponents in prison. It's called perjury. It's called purging, You need to purge. Whenever you first set up or establish yourself as a political entity, you have to purge. If you don't purge, then you will be rife with complications and inefficiencies, because if not everyone is working towards the same goals underneath you, then you have no foundation. And if you have no foundation, then you have little to no chance of success. So, how do we purge our political opponents? Ordinarily, this would fall under a strict guideline of the kinds of things you are and aren't allowed to do. But if you're Mr. Mueller, you call up your friend Hillary Clinton, and she gives money to a law firm. That law firm then gives money to some Russian guy. Some Russian guy prints out a dossier about the president going to Moscow and meeting up with a bunch of hookers, and it's used as the basis for your investigation on everything. Literally anything you could imagine. And it's actually genius. It is so intelligent, in fact, that I know that the real Mueller, the one that we see out in public, didn't come up with it. Because he is a moron. No, it had to have been thought up. It had to have been thought up for him. There's no way he came up with it himself. Because now, the FISA court, which is what they call themselves, the court that allows you to get warrants on people to bypass several different amendments. The amendments stating that you have the right to keep yourself safe from unlawful search and seizure, the one that says you have the right to a fair trial, the ones that say you have the right to, have your own privacy. All of these rights can be taken away from you if what was this criteria? Oh yes, a career agent, intelligence agent, I'm assuming, just has agent written down here. A career agent signs off on it and says that to the best of his knowledge that the document that he read is true and has enough validity to warrant a FISA warrant. And then you're golden. You can do whatever you want. This FISA application, made by a Russian man, mind you, the information came from it, the information in it came from a Russian man, is now being used as the main thing during the election. This isn't after the election, this is during the election. It's now being used to wiretap the president, wiretap associates of the president, raid the president's lawyer's home, probably other things that I don't even know about, but let's not make those kinds of speculations. Let's talk about the things we do know. After the election, the first 9 weeks, General Flynn is brought inside, and he is sat down by the FBI. The FBI told him, you don't need to bring a lawyer, this is just a friendly discussion. If you're dealing with the FBI at any point in time ever, do not talk to them directly. Get a lawyer. If they tell you you don't need a lawyer, don't believe them. But I can't blame General Flynn for this mistake. It's the old it's the old saying, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Well, let's show you how wrong that is. General Flynn is being talked to by the FBI, who told him, don't bring a lawyer, because you won't need a lawyer. They sit him down and they're having a discussion with him, and they ask him a very specific question along the lines of, what exactly did you say, and on what date did you say it, referring to a conversation he'd had with his Russian counterpart. General Flynn responded incorrectly. which I'm sure you would as well in that situation. If you're being asked a specific question about what you said on any day that was not today, you would probably not be able to answer. And they had the transcript for that conversation. He did not get to see the transcript for that conversation. This was the same evidence used to get this poor man put into the legal system. Now he is being tried for perjury against the FBI. All because he trusted them. And because the rule of law is dead, they were able to take him through this, and in true Mueller fashion, he offers General Flynn a plea deal. General Flynn, of course, takes it because he's a poor man. Generals, believe it or not, don't actually make that much money. And going through a court system, any kind of court system, is expensive because lawyers make an ungodly amount of money and fees and all that garbage. So Flynn, he can't do it. He can't keep going on. And we believe, this is a speculation, we believe that he was offered the chance to surrender and say that he did it, in which he would be given a shorter guilty sentence, and his son would not be brought in on the same charges. Disgusting if true, but once again, I don't have all the evidence to convict, clearly, or I would be going to citizens' court about it. Anyways, next up was Jerome Corsi. Jerome Corsi is a story that gets me every time. So much so, I block it from my memory whenever I hear it. I don't even know how to start with this one. Jerome Corsi was offered a plea deal by Mueller. A plea deal, not by the judge, not by the jury, not by the executioner, by the director of the FBI, in exchange for him pleading guilty to perjury because he supposedly knew that WikiLeaks was going to release something on a date. This has no evidence. This is a baseless claim. WikiLeaks did release something on that date. That is about the only true statement in this web of lies. It is about the only true statement in any web of lies about this whole situation. It is an actual witch hunt. It would be like if I asked someone who I thought was a witch if they knew when the next time it was going to rain was. And they told me they didn't know when the next time it was going to rain was. And then it rained next Tuesday. And I take them to court. I take them to the witch court because they told me that it wasn't supposed to rain. They told me that they didn't know when it was going to rain, but they're a witch. They should have known that it would rain next Tuesday. That's what we're looking at here, folks. It's a baseless claim. It's an accusation that a person would be privileged to information that there's no good reason for them to have been privileged to. Right? It's almost surreal. There can't be people that believe this nonsense, are there? Do you believe this nonsense? You might. I don't know. They make pretty convincing arguments about it, actually. If you didn't know better, you could find yourself being swindled into believing these people. It's not hard. They stand on the podium that they know more than you do about this stuff, and a lot of people find themselves believing it. It's sad, but it's true. You know, it's like when the NSA starts recording your phone calls and they say that, they need it. It's for things you just don't understand. And then it comes out that the NSA was just recording your phone calls because they wanted to record your phone calls. And you get, people get mad, but they don't care. No one ever follows up on it. They can't follow up on it, really, because the NSA is such a shadowy organization, and nobody really has the power to control the NSA outside of the NSA, and so, nobody really can rein them in. And that's what this is. It's exactly like it. In fact, it's literally a carbon copy of the situation where the FBI has, the FBI director, not even the judge or the jury, FBI director offers somebody a plea deal in exchange for him pleading guilty to something that would further his own witch hunt investigation. And the thing that he is going to be pleading guilty to is that he was supposed to know when the next time WikiLeaks was going to release an article was. That is ridiculous. Once again, of course, I don't know everything, right? I'm not claiming to know everything. Maybe Corsi was supposed to know when the next WikiLeaks article was. I don't know. But either way, that's not perjury against the court. It's not, it doesn't matter, because the whole investigation in the first place is a fraud. It is a FISA warrant that was signed on false information that was gotten through Russian collusion. So I don't care if Corsi really did know and just didn't tell the truth about when the next time WikiLeaks was going to release an article was going to be, because it doesn't matter. It didn't matter then, and it doesn't matter now. If he got the date wrong, then that's fine. It's a non-issue. WikiLeaks had nothing to do with this investigation. I'm going to lose this pig. WikiLeaks had nothing to do with this investigation. Didn't then, it doesn't now. But this is what happens when no one cares. This is what happens when you let the I have nothing to hide, so therefore I have nothing to fear get too far. Good people go to prison, and there's nothing that we can do about it because we let it get to this point. But that's a good thing, because the end of democracy is coming quicker than you think. Soon it will be time, once again, for us to show ourselves. The world's been waiting, and the world's just now waking up. And I tell you, it's in for one rude awakening. Let's just put it like that. Stay tuned for the next time. Hopefully I'll have something more fun to talk about. And maybe we can beat my new high score of 28. That ain't too shabby, I don't think. Alright. See y'all later.